You're watching Drake Wing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Never here for Drake Wing Gaming, studying down sort of the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Moonlight Castle, Dylan's Path. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. My phone helped a bit, but it was still as if we were trying to see the other end of a bottomless pit. Huh. Weird. Are we really sure about this? We can still go back, right? Shut up and let me do my thing. I vouched for your safety, didn't I? You did, and that's nice, but I'm still going to be scared. At least try not to be in the way. I didn't know where we were heading. I was already worried by the fact that the staircase was taking us underground, and there surely was still much room for other potential concerns. As we reached the bottom, we found a basement. It was huge and full of debris and garbage. However, it was also mostly empty. The noises were terrorizing my ears. I couldn't identify which sound was which because all of them were bouncing all over the place and clashing with one another. These noises, are they our echoes? Is this a chamber? Don't know, don't care. I'm out here to investigate the noises. It could be water moving shit around. Stop crying. Where are we going? Dylan inhaled air deeply, through his nostrils, and then exhaled it through his mouth. The source of the smell is moving. It's getting harder to detect. The person, the creature, whatever I'm feeling, knows what I'm doing. I tightened my grip on his jacket. Please don't tell me that you want to go deeper. Fine, I won't tell you. Dylan chased after the faint smell of blood, and against my better judgment I followed him. We moved further, and he was kind enough to never mention about me following him. Yeah, some weird shit definitely happened here, and whoever did it knows how to hide it well. It began to dawn on me that I'd underestimated how serious this little trip turned out to be. My lack of expertise and proper skills to investigate a scene had also led me to ignore and miss a lot of things. I was probably more of a burden than a help to Dylan down here. In the midst of my thoughts, I collapsed and fell on my legs. Why did you let go? Dylan turned around to look at me, and immediately he lowered himself to check and see if I was okay. What happened? Are you hurt? As he saw I was pressing both sides of my head with my hands, a look of concern appeared on his face. It felt as if someone had injected straight into my brain a dose of pure pain. It was by far the worst headache I had ever had. My head, it hurts! Are we reacting to something? Whatever, doesn't matter. We're leaving, okay? I nodded slowly. Keeping focus was a challenge at the moment. My sight became blurry, and I was beginning to find it difficult even to understand Dylan's words. I thought I heard a voice pleading and crying for help. I wondered if it was just a hallucination or someone was really there. I couldn't muster any strength to answer it or even speak a word, and my vision was too blurry for me to see anything much. In fact, I could barely make out a vague shape of Dylan's face next to mine as the crocodile lifted me up and offered himself as a support for my body while we walked out of the basement. I didn't faint, but I couldn't help but thinking it'd be better if I did. I could hardly feel my body as I was sputtering and coughing up my lungs. It's okay, take it easy, breathe. We took a break until my heart was beating at a normal pace again. I wheezed and gasped for air, and it felt as if I'd stopped breathing entirely while we were down there. I wasn't sure if it was a good idea to mention the voice to the reptile, though. Was I hallucinating? I don't understand. Take it to Liam. If someone can explain it, it's him. Are you going down there again? The traces were already gone by the time I looked at you, but I think Liam will be satisfied with just hearing what you and I found. So you know. I'm sorry for holding you back. I know you wanted to keep looking, though I appreciate how you prioritized taking care of me when I was struggling. I didn't prioritize anything. I just said that the thing was already gone, so I was about to leave anyway. You didn't change anything. I didn't believe him. When we were walking out of there, I could see his eyes and the look on his face. It showed that there was real concern, and he was genuinely worried about me, though I doubt he'd ever admit it. Can you walk? I nodded at him as I stood up, starting to walk. However, I teetered and almost tripped a few times. I'm fine, just gonna be a little slow. I was too ashamed to ask for help. With how much of a mess I'd become, I wasn't sure if he was going to be comfortable touching me, and I didn't want to push any boundaries. Shut up and let me help. I'm still in charge here. Forcefully, he took my arm, wrapped it around my neck, and pulled me up. I felt embarrassed, and I was getting flustered. However, the way he reacted to it with no emotion kind of helped me not get embarrassed further. Dylan. What? This is the least rough I can be. It's as good as it can get. Deal with it. Don't you ever get tired of being the bad guy? No. You didn't have to answer it immediately. Thoughtless questions don't get a thoughtful answer, stupid. What about the silent treatment? I said I'd answer your questions. Don't abuse it. I still don't think you're such a bad person that everyone else seems to think you are. Wonder why you just accepted that and never really tried to change it. Is Ryan possessing you or something? You're being nosy as hell, exactly like him. Hearing him comparing me with Ryan really threw a wrench in the works I was planning. I didn't want to appear like I was forcing my way into people's lives like the bear did. It was the last thing I wanted. You want to know the truth? I tilted my head to the side so that it leaned against the stubborn crocodiles. The truth is that even you can be cool if you really want to. He groaned. Massaging his head, Dylan was most likely trying not to snap at me. My friend is such a handful, acting like a baby. Holy shit, what a nuisance. As I heard that, my eyes were filled with sparkles. Dylan was looking away from me, and I could totally picture what kind of face he was hiding. He'd made a slip, and he must have realized that. I'm your friend? Of course you are, you dumbass. What else? He yelled at me and finally snapped. I couldn't help trying and failing to stop my giggles. He then sent me some threats, but they were nowhere near heavy this time, and I knew that they were all empty. For some reason, this interaction gave me a warm feeling, and it felt like he was coddling me. And soon, at the end of the hallway, I could see the other friends waiting for our return. Second, y'all. Alright, y'all, and we are back. Let's jump right back into it. As soon as we entered the lounge without warning, Dylan dropped me on the floor in front of everyone. Ow! Maybe I'd pushed it a little too far. Dylan, what the fuck did you do to Joel? Ryan rushed in to help me get up, and immediately after that, the others formed a circle around us to take a look and show their concern. I couldn't really keep up with what they were all saying, though I tried to reassure everyone that I was fine, and the whole time I was doing that, I was staring at Dylan. The reptile was quiet. Some of us were trying to approach him, but he'd throw a deadly glare at them so that they'd back away and choose to come back to look at me instead. Ryan, however, kept going and demanded an explanation from the crocodile. Stop! My voice was merely a whisper compared to all the fuss they were making. Completely overwhelmed, I felt helpless. I didn't understand what Dylan was trying to do. Was he trying to prove a point to me? To himself? Did he really have to go that far? Guys, that's enough. Blake managed to push Ryan back and break the two apart. With some assistance from Patrice, who helped him by holding down the reptile. Joel hasn't said even a word yet. Before you two start going at it, at least ask him what happened. I charged at Ryan from behind and gave him a hug while begging him to stop. The bear sighed and finally stepped aside. I looked at Dylan. Our eyes met, though only briefly before the reptile turned away and left the castle. I saw he was carrying you. It seems counterproductive just to throw you at the end. Clyde was probably the only one who noticed that, as well as the fact that I was shaking my head as he said it. I was at a complete loss as to why Dylan would do what he did. So, before we all head back, I just wanted to say that tomorrow I have an announcement to make. We'll discuss it during lunch. Sounds good? I guess? And with that, we all decided to call it a night and leave the castle. As we walked back to our car, it was very obvious to me that all of us were in quite a bitter mood. I myself was also upset about the stunt Dylan had pulled, throwing me on the ground, just like that. I failed to wrap my head around it. There was simply no justifiable reason for him to do that, and the more I thought about it, the angrier I got. Do you want to talk about it? I hate to see you like this. I don't think I can right now, but thanks. I know I can count on you. You should be grateful you went along with that bullshit. Nobody would have done that same thing for him. We got to our car and didn't bother to continue the conversation with Ryan. There was no point in saying my thoughts about the whole deal when the bear himself wasn't there to see it. Ryan got into the car, and the crocodile and I and everyone else were waiting outside for the bear to unlock the door. That was when Dylan's eyes met mine again. What should I do? I was irritated by the way Dylan was looking at me. It seemed to me that this guy just didn't care. It was just another day to him, an average one where he carelessly crushed people's feelings, especially mine. The car's door was unlocked right after my palm had connected to his face and left a red mark on his cheek. I was shaking and holding my hand up in front of me like it was a murder weapon, and he was just standing there wearing the same expression he had worn yesterday. My hand hurt, my heart hurt, everything hurt. Russell had warned me, yet I ignored it. Just like before, I ran away. Scared of Dylan, I put myself into the car and closed the door behind me. Taking a brief glance at the rearview mirror, I saw the crocodile touching the mark and caressing it with a mixture of shock and curiosity on his face. If you dare do anything to Joel, you'll have to go through me first. Shut up and drive. Interesting. Nobody said anything during the entire ride. It was slow, painful, and boring all the way until we were back at Russell's. Once the car stopped, everyone other than Ryan and I got out of the vehicle. All the events with Dylan today were being played in my head on a loop, and I was too occupied with him to say goodbye to everyone. We can wait a little more until he leaves, okay? The two of us sat there in the van for what felt like an eternity, waiting until we could no longer see anyone else in the car. I was holding it in for so long that the moment Ryan's hand touched mine, I was pushed over the edge by the warmth and began to tear up. Uncontrollably, I sobbed in his arms. I fucked it up so bad, Ryan. I'm sorry. I thought I could do it this time, but then I ruined everything again. Shh, it's okay. It's not your fault. I promise. Do you want me to stick around tomorrow, just to make sure it doesn't escalate when we meet for lunch? I took a tissue from his paw and blew my nose as hard as I could. My emotions were all over the place at the moment. I was struggling to maintain my control over them. The bear gently patted me on the head, which almost caused another eruption of my tears. I'll be all right. You're so nice to me and always helping me out. Thanks. Let's get you home. Try to sleep it off, okay? Yeah, I really should. We got out to the van. We got out of the van and got into Ryan's car, and the bear drove me home. I told Ryan multiple times that he didn't have to park the car to walk me to my door. However, he insisted anyway. And knowing that he was worried about Dylan showing up, I obliged and let him do what he wanted. I was too tired to fight it. Besides, it kind of made me feel like I was wanted. Good night, Joel. Text me if you need anything. I will. Thank you for everything, really. Ryan took the opportunity to shove me in his chest and give me a bear hug. I didn't mind it, and I wanted to give one back to him too, but the difference in our sizes made it difficult for me to wrap my arms around him. Finally, I was alone, and the day ended. I didn't bother to do anything before I jumped into my bed and fell asleep promptly afterward. Day 3. Okay. Ugh, what time is it? Actually, it wouldn't really matter. I didn't feel like doing anything. I felt so tired, so exhausted, and I didn't know why. Maybe I should just sleep in. Huh? What was that noise? Where did it come from? There it was again. Ugh, everything hurt. Joel, I know you're in there. I was dazed. Both my body and my mind were still numb from the night before. It felt as if my senses were distorted or weakened. Just barely I could hear Ryan's voice and the constant banging on my door. It took me a moment to regain focus and the ability to discern worry in the bear's tone. Open the door, please! That must have been one hell of a night. Joel! Most images in my mind were still blurry. However, it seemed my body remembered all the pain and struggles I went through. Come on! I looked at the clock on my shelf and... Open the door, Joel, I can help you! Ah, so loud, so annoying. Couldn't even... Let me in, Joel, I'm here for you. I'm trying to wake up. Will you shut up already? I'm virtually comatose here. There was no answer. Finally, there was some peace and quiet. I felt incredibly groggy. It was as if my body couldn't function, like I hadn't slept well at all. It was as if I was pretending to be alive. Now that I was awake, almost immediately my mind took the chance to remind me about the scene from last night that I tried so hard to forget. Remembering it made me want to just snap out of consciousness again. However, knowing that Ryan was waiting for me behind the door, I had to save that for later. Alright, y'all, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna head out. I'm tired. I've got my interview today. Hope everything goes well. Hopefully this will be an awesome new job. Definitely be making a hell of a lot more than I am now. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!